Hey everyone.
Dear God, it's him.
Who?
The one. The superhero equivalent to comfort food or Molly. White guy's answer to all the disappointments and another A-lister.
Hey guys, welcome to Obscure MCU. In this episode I have some really exciting news. In case you haven't heard, it was reported a few days ago by Deadline that Chris Evans has officially been cast in Avengers Doomsday. Once this news came out, I had a few ideas of who he could be playing. Since Steve technically never died at the end of Endgame, my initial thoughts was that we could see old man Steve Rogers come back and serve as a bit of a mentor figure, almost like a Nick Fury for the new Avengers team. But since RDJ is coming back as Dr. Doom, we could maybe see a Hydra Cap or some type of evil variant, as well as like the original 6 Avengers kind of forming a Masters of Evil team almost to face off against the new Avengers. And this still could be the case, but at the time of recording this, news also just dropped that Haley Atwell is going to come back, and not as Captain Carter from What If, but as Agent Carter. And within the article, they also go on to say that Marvel Studios was actually in development of another solo Cap movie with both Chris Evans and Haley Atwell, but they couldn't nail down the story in time, so whatever that original plan was has now been kind of written into Avengers Doomsday. So that got me thinking, and I have a few ideas of what we could see. Ever since the release of Endgame, it's always been a debate on whether Steve simply just went back in time within the sacred timeline, or if he created a branch reality where he went to go stay with Peggy. And now with them both coming back, there's a chance we could get a solid answer on what the case is, and also further develop the story of what happened to Steve after he returned the Infinity Stones. So for a bit of context on where I'm coming from, Steve Rogers has always been my favorite character personally, not just in the MCU, but probably in all of fiction if I'm being honest. So I was a little bit disappointed with how his story ended in Endgame. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy he had a happy ending with Peggy, but a part of me was a bit dissatisfied knowing that the same Steve Rogers who was willing to sacrifice his status as Cap, his reputation, and also just kind of the general respect from the public point of view, just to save his friend, and also the same Cap that would dismantle his entire establishment and organization after learning the corruption that was within it, would simply just abandon his friends and the world right after the snap, knowing that there would be fallout from like half the population just showing up again, which is what we saw in Falcon and Winter Soldier, like the rise of the Flag Smashers. I feel like Steve would have put a bit more thought into simply just up and leaving his world just to have his happily ever after. It's like, to be fair, like he deserves it after all this time, but a part of me was always bothered by that. So knowing that there's a plan for them to kind of further explore his character, whether it's in a different universe or back in time in the main MCU, I'm kind of happy to know that some people at Marvel was thinking the same way I would, like this Steve Rogers that we knew from the first Avenger who would jump on the grenade wouldn't just abandon his friend so shortly after the whole fight against Thanos. So anyways, I feel like they'll further develop the story in the next Avengers movie in some shape or form. And now that him and Haley Atwell are both confirmed to be back, I'm sure the Russos are probably gonna further develop this story. This next part isn't officially confirmed, but I saw a few posts on Twitter from reliable scoopers that the character he will be playing is Nomad. And for those who don't know, Nomad was an alternate identity that Steve Rogers took after abandoning the mantle of Cap in the comics. And I know many of you guys are thinking that he already did that in Infinity War. I think the fans kind of just adopted that idea, but it was never officially confirmed. Like, if you go back and watch the movie, read any of the tie-in comics or novels, and even on the official merchandise, he was never officially called Nomad. It was always just Steve Rogers or Captain America still. So it makes sense that now, like officially, he would take up that role as like a hero or like a vigilante who kind of does things in secret. Because if it is true that he went back in time in the sacred timeline, he obviously knows there can't be two Steve Rogers existing at once, but still doing things as this Nomad character in case he was discovered. And especially now, since Sam has taken up the role of Captain America, the possibilities are honestly endless, especially now with the multiverse thing. It could just be a villain from another universe, like I was saying, where we could see like some evil variants of the Avengers. But I think the fact that they brought back Haley Atwell as well, as Agent Carter specifically, not Captain Carter, at least for Avengers Doomsday, kind of tells me that they may explore more with Steve. And also, since it's the Russo brothers, they've been directing all the Cap movies since Winter Soldier and all the Avengers movies where his story has kind of been essential or integral to the plot. So it makes sense that they would want to continue it with these next two. And I'm sure during Secret Wars, we'll probably see him take up the mantle of Cap again. Marvel doesn't want to miss the opportunity to have the original 6 Avengers alongside Hugh Jackman and the original X-Men, the Spider-Man, and a lot of other legacy characters all together on screen, so he'll probably use the shield at least one more time. But what do you guys think, though? Do you think he'll be a villain or a hero in Avengers Doomsday? And do you think we'll see Haley Owl as Captain Carter in Secret Wars? Because I feel like that's the movie where we'll get a lot of different variants from What If and all just different possibilities. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos coming soon, and thanks for watching.
Fair warning, gorgeous. You're going to encounter some indelicate language, a smidge of ass play, but we've been prohibited from using cocaine on camera.